Yeah, yeah, we generally send out the list of people that request to be on the agenda. And Marie sends it out and we look at the list and we figure out where we want, if we want to put somebody on the agenda or where we want to place them on the agenda, depending on what they're presenting or what the topic is.
Yes.
Okay.
Five, there's five, right? Oh, for the put 2-1.
Yes, five. Yeah, there's 2 ones. You're right, Sonia.
Yeah, there's 2-1s.
2 ones.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was having an issue with the first one from Richard Lobel. They haven't sent it to us yet. That they haven't processed it at BSA. They're still having meetings with them, but they said they'll be ready in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I put it on the list. That was the last conversation I had with them today with BSA and with Sheldon Lobel's office. They're trying to get it to us so that we can schedule it for February.
Okay.
Okay.
And you said the liquor license stuff that they are waiting for no applications. We don't have anything that anybody want to speak about the license, right?
Not yet. No.
Okay, guys. All we got to do is choose where we want to put everybody on the agenda.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Can you please tell me what date that agenda was sent? Because it's not on the recurring invitations. It's on the original. So I'm sorry, but my emails get buried. And if I don't,
This is a list of the agenda items that went out today.
Today?
Yeah.
See that?
Around 11 something or 12 something. You know the items we generally get the list of for the agenda. It went out today.
Okay. 2.
Did you have it,
Keep
Gina?
going. Keep going. I'll find it.
Okay, Phil, Gina, you got the list? Did you
I
get
got
the
mine.
list?
No problem.
Okay, Phil got his, I got mine, Sonia
it.
got hers.
Got it.
Yes, I have it.
Okay, so who do we want to start with? Community Affairs Association, Department of Consumer Affairs, or?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. The virtual presentation on free tax prep services.
Yeah. And then we got the hospital test and trace that want to come and give us an update. And then we got the comments on the budget, and the budget should go further down to make sure that that all the members are there in case they got comments.
I think what people want to know is not so much test and trace, but where is access to the vaccine?
Yeah, well, everybody got canceled late, got appointments now today. I told them they had to cancel them or something, so I don't know. Well, but 2 weeks from now, maybe I'm pretty sure they'll know more than we know today. Okay, so what we want for the first item?
Would you like to make the tax prep number 1?
Well, do you think enough people enough members on the board to be there, Phil, to get the benefit of that presentation?
Yeah, well, that's almost the idea. That's what I'm thinking about. That no matter what you put number 1, it's the least amount of members are there at that time. So I don't know which one you want to do then.
Well, why don't we try Darryl White, Attorney General's office, number 4.
You want to make number 4 number 1? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You want to put the test and trace number 2?
That's fine. And then the community associate with the tax thing.
Would be number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And OMB, and then
well, we got to put LaBelle in. We got, yeah, the comments. Generally, people don't have any comments.
You want to make LaBelle 4 or 5?
Make them 4
Okay, good.
and make the comments 5.
Yes. Gina, see how easy it is?
Is that, hang on a second, that presentation from Richard Lobel,
Yes.
is that gonna be a long presentation?
Marie,
It's
we didn't get the
actually,
paperwork on it yet.
it's actually something that the BSA said. I mean, I have a package from them, but I don't have what they're going to finally release. With
Hey, Simon,
change-
welcome. Nice to see you.
any
Hi, Simon.
any changes in comments from the BSA, because it's still pending at BSA, but they expect it to go in a week or two, or by the third week we should have everything for us to go ahead. It's an unusual item that we've never had before. 'Cause that's what they said, they don't usually get this, and that's why they were holding it back. And it's put something on the rooftop. They wanted to make sure it was something that they could rule on, so that's what they decided that they could.
Okay.
Electrical utility substation on a roof.
Right. That's it's something that they don't usually get, so they weren't rushing to make a judgment on it.
And
they're-
so who has to, what committee does it have to go before?
If it comes from BSA, it's going to have to go to land use.
Land
And-
use.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll have this stuff in. So we'll do him number 4 and comments number 5. And as y'all know, we might get somebody else that might come in before the meeting and it might go on. Then we got the liquor license and everything.
Okay.
Okay, Simon, how you doing, Simon? Oh, he's gone?
Hello.
Oh, Simon's here. So, Madam Chair, if we have our agenda in order, can I make a motion to accept it?
Yes. Is there a second?
A second, Sonia.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is the agenda. Does anybody else have anything to discuss or bring up?
I want to like to welcome a new person to the executive board, Gina.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Welcome
you.
again.
Thank you. Yes, I'm in, and I look forward to working with everyone here on the executive board. Thank you.
Can I, and I didn't hear what you guys were discussing when I entered the meeting. Was there any question regarding the issue of the functions on the WebEx? Were there any answers to those questions in terms of allowing community members to insert questions, not in the Q&A, but in the chat? And I understand that there are reasons for those restrictions because of security measures. But is there anything? Was there follow-up? That's what I'm trying to say.
We don't have anything as of yet. So I don't know if people want to do a workshop on it. But I know if people sign up and they go in the way they sign up, they can get on, they can see people on, and they can see what we see. So if people sign up, brother, I don't know how people are going in, but it's like any other website that you go in for a meeting. If you go in and sign in and then you join the meeting, you should be able to get in. Because I've talked to somebody who comes in and they can see everything.
But yeah, that was
Here
a
it is.
question I had because this month when there was questions, they were both on the Q&A, the chat, and they weren't community board members, and they were in the chat. And they had access because when I was going back and forth, it was just crazy because it becomes too much. But there were people that were not community board members on the chat.
So they're chatting. So people, I guess the question is, the problem is people are complaining because they can't see all the questions.
I think it's that, and they don't have access to the chat either. They can't see the chat. I'd have to go back to read all of the stuff that's been said in those emails from.
I believe we've received some response about some of the security that's in place, dictated by the city for using WebEx. So if you didn't get that email, I'll
I
forward
got
it
that
to you.
email. I'm just going to say that response is not going to fly. I'm
Well,
just
I'm
going to
just
put
saying
that out there.
that was it.
Yeah, that's the last response we got. So like I was saying, I don't know if people want us to try to get the tech to set up a workshop and people can join the workshop and then they can ask questions. But like I said, if people sign up, from my understanding, they can go in and see everything just like we can and type and everything else. So I don't understand, you know.
So, but what about the function that people can't see? I don't know if the public can see the participants in the meeting, the people that are attending the meeting. Whereas with other, well, this platform does allow it because I've seen it happen. You can see other people, not just the members. You can see the attendees.
Yeah. The only question I have, Madam Chair, is there a possibility like whenever something's a presentation, you open it for the questions instead of just keeping it running for that particular presentation and close the chat and open it? Like what do we have? Like 'cause sometimes when they have the chat, it's like has nothing to do with the presentation, what's going on. They just throw things in there. I mean, way to filter it and say, okay, if you want to you have a question for this particular presentation, and we'll open the questions there and then close it and then open the questions again for another person. I mean, because it's just so crazy the things that come up there in that chat.
Well, that's what I do. I ask people if they have any questions, and you would think that if people had any questions, it would be on the presentations. But people are putting all kind of questions in there
Yes,
and all kind of stuff.
some crazy stuff in comments and things that are just getting outrageous, and sometimes I just don't want to read it because there was a horrible comment on the chat over that the state park, and all the rainbows, and they're turning it into a circus, and there was a lot of crazy comments that I just did not want to touch.
But here's the thing, Sonia, and here's what not just Sonia, but everyone else. If we were conducting in-person meetings, people have the ability to have that whatever minute they need to express their
They
comments
express themselves.
out
I don't want to
loud.
express their
So
comments.
you're not reading because you choose to not read something that you feel is egregious. However, if it were an in-person meeting, the person would have the ability to say those things.
Exactly.
So
The
this is
person,
where,
everything's always misconstrued when you say things. People get too crazy. They
But
should be
so-
able to say it.
Sonia, exactly. And we shouldn't have hesitation. If it's a matter of having to read it, you have to read it.
If it's a question, it should be read regardless of what it says.
No, it's not a question. There were comments. If it's a question, I read all the question. When they make comments, like
I understand what you're
it's a
saying.
little bit too sticky, but
But-
they weren't questions to ask. They were comments.
But it's like you're taking away from people to have that platform to express whatever it is they want to express. If we're meeting in person, they'll do it. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure
they'll do it.
they'll ask the
But I'm not
chair,
gonna
can I speak?
I
The chair
understand what you're
gives them the
saying.
floor.
I understand what you're saying, but to entertain things that are really are crazy, because some people will say the darnest things, and you'll be like, where did that come from? It's not a question. It's more a comment, and it's offensive.
If it's a question, the floor is open for questions. If people want to talk about stuff that's derogatory or out of character, those things are in the chat. There's a record of it. If people want to see it, they can check on the chat and they can read it. We are entertaining questions because generally when we are in the board meeting, we open the floor for questions disguised as short stories. So what people do, they get up there and they read a half a book, and then you ask them what their question is, and finally they'll try to ask you a question. But generally they get all the shit out their chest before they get to the question. And sometimes they don't
This is
have a
true.
question. They just able to say what they want to say. But since they have the floor, they can say anything they want to say.
And Madam Chair, if people
Yes,
make comments, that's what the public session is for.
right.
You're 100% right. When we have something on the floor, you open the floor up to questions.
And
That's what that's for.
and
if
if they signed in to the meeting as an attendee,
Right.
and if I have the ability, sometimes you don't because of how they call in to the meeting. You read the question, they say so and so wants to raise a question. I can turn them on and they do speak.
This is true. Yes, this is true. But then I think that, the thing is that we repeat and we got to keep repeating it, I guess. And so, I mean, as long as I've been there, it's been an issue. People not signing up, or they're not, oh, I forgot, I didn't know. And, there's no excuses now. There's no reason anymore, because it's clear when you make the announcements. It's clear we have the website, and it indicates what the protocol is, what the procedures are. And it's getting old, because people just want to do what people want to do, and we need to have some order.
Yeah, and plus, when we were meeting in person, our agenda always go out. People see what's on the agenda. And when people get to the meeting, even before they hear the presentation, people have the opportunity to sign up. People are not signing up to speak anymore about an issue.
Yes,
So
that's just true.
Yeah, they have the opportunity to sign up if they want to speak. And they let us know that they want to speak, and we know that they're there, and that way Marie can pull them into the room. But people are not signing up to speak. That's the problem.
What is the process right now for signing up to speak?
It's on the agenda. When the agenda goes out, it's one of the things we set up in the beginning, because we said we still have to give the public the opportunity to speak. It's on the agenda. If people want to speak, they let the office know. That's why I said if committees was given report, tell the office you was given a report. If elected officials want to speak, tell the office you want to speak. Marie makes up a list. She emails me that list. I print it out, and we both can see who want to speak. Now, everybody got the opportunity to speak, just like they had the opportunity to speak before. We made sure those things were in place. If you look on the agenda, it tells you. And it tells you
I think, Madam Chair, this is just a suggestion. You don't have to, I think that it has to be reiterated at the meetings. People, whomever wants to have the platform, the ability to speak, please sign up ahead of time. You sign up when the agenda is distributed. Reach out to the board and indicate that you'd like to speak at the meeting.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. You gotta keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it to them until maybe one day, and I have faith and hope that it'll stick with them and they'll know, because it just gets old. Again, I say, because I know even in person that was an issue. If they didn't sign up, they were screaming bloody murder. They didn't come in within that period. It was like 15, 20 minutes to sign up. They weren't doing it. Gina, you were signing people up, right? Didn't you have that issue?
Yeah, and there's, especially when there's a big issue, like where like 20 people want to speak on the same issue. But it was always 15 minutes before the beginning of the board, and then that was it. Everybody knew they had to sign up.
And that's the way it's being done now. Marie is on 15 minutes before the meeting starts to people jump in.
No. It's on the agenda. People have to read the agenda. If they want, they have to send an email to the office and tell Marie they want to speak and give their contact information. So that way she can open up the phone.
Not the day of the meeting.
If they get it to the day of the meeting, they should get it to her before 6:30.
What if I'm attending a meeting for the first time? I don't know the process. I'm just putting it out there. It just so happens that there's something on the agenda that I'm passionate about, and I'd like to have the opportunity to speak. But I just learned right before the meeting that this is on the agenda.
You can call the office and tell Marie there's an item on the agenda you want to speak about.
Madam Chair, if I call the office at 5:30,
It won't be on the list, but she'll be there and she'll take the information and know that you want to speak. She'll put you on her list. That way she know where to find you in the list and open up the phone when she call you to speak. You always hear me say, is there any other speakers, Marie? Is there any other speakers? And if you're looking at the agenda and you know what's on the agenda, all the information is on there that you need to call, get in touch with the office and let them know. Marie, I think what we should do is, I think we should make up a letter and a notice and put it on the website and reiterate that the electors have to email the office or call the office and tell them they want to speak. Chairpersons that want to give a committee report have to call the office or send an email and tell them they're giving a report. Anybody want to speak on an agenda item have to call the office or send an email and tell us they want to speak. I think it just has to be reiterated on the website or maybe highlighted on the agenda. I don't know. But if you're reading the agenda and you didn't read the whole thing, but this has been on there all the time.
And in addition, I think, Madam Chair, that when closing the meeting with the new business, that we should always throw it out there and remind them, this is the procedure, please, for the next agenda, for the next meeting, you want to speak, this is what we do, this is the procedure. And again, I guess after every meeting, remind people again and again and again. It gets old, but we have to keep doing it.
Yeah, but the thing about it, by the time the meeting is gone, the people that need to hear that are gone. By the time the meeting is over.
But there's a lot of people who stuck around the last month's meeting in the hopes that they were able to speak. And I saw that in the chat and one with attendees, a lot of them remained. I kept checking to see how many members would leave, and the numbers kept going down. The actual board members were leaving quicker than the attendees.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to do this and post it and send it out to the whole board again. So that way people come to them and ask them questions, then they can tell them what the procedure is.
In addition, I also think that our board members also share the information, and also when they do a presentation, they get that support of people coming out to speak about something during a committee. So I think that falls on us as well, as far as giving the information and really being able to provide the people that are interested in the topics that we're discussing with every committee, that we should continue to remind them to sign up first.
Yeah, but the information it should set for all for the public hearings and for the committee meetings.
No, I know, but when they're presenting, like let's say land and use, you get a lot of people going, right, Maria? So then these people that are there and they're in favor or against, they should remind them you want to speak at the whole board meeting, and you should do this and this and this. Because I know I've noticed that people talk about their transportation when they come into the meetings, that they have attendees. And I've noticed that now more than ever with this WebEx, I can see that people are coming on board more than what I actually thought I saw them in person.
Well, what I'm saying is, I guess it should be added for committee meetings too. So if people want to come to the committee meetings and be heard, they should sign up to speak at the committee meetings.
and what's the deadline to submit a request to speak?
We didn't put a deadline on it. We had the deadline on it when we had open meetings. We had 45 minutes or 15 minutes, but we don't have a deadline. But you think anybody want to speak, they're gonna sign up to speak before the meeting.
Okay, so there's no deadline. So that means that if at 6 o'clock I decide that I want to speak, I can send an email to the board and say, hey, I'd like to speak, and it's gonna be honored.
Let me clarify when you say speak. Okay, so there's two different things here. We have a public session set up at every board meeting. People have to sign up if they want to speak. It's different if they're asking a question about a presentation. That's a different story. That's up to the chair to recognize a person who has a question. They raise the hand. And her co-chair or the secretary can read the chat and know that person has a question. That's how it works. It works very well. Committee meetings are deliberations of the committee. board meetings, you have your public session.
Mm-hmm,
People sign up to speak.
mm-hmm,
And the thing is, and we've had this before, when people have legitimate things they want to talk about, and they want to talk about this, they say, I want to discuss the census. I want to have my 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes to speak. That's how they get recognized, and we know what they're speaking on. If someone comes in to the chat and starts to, spout out questions or comments that are inappropriate, that's another issue. You have to monitor that. But anyone has a question, you have a question and answer. You have the chat. Your co-chair monitors that and brings that attention up. That's the best way to do it. There's no open mic. This is in this type of a forum, but the public does have the ability to ask questions or make comments.
I think, Marie, I think I think in that actuality, there's two questions. Question of the question when something's being presented, and the speaker a section when they want to just
Speak.
discuss whether they agree or disagree or whatever point of view that they have. So that's one thing also, that when we do say the questions for presentation, they should be placed in the chat or the Q&As. But I think that we have to remind people that is just when they have questions for whatever we're discussing. Now, if they have any whatever ill feelings or anything that they're against, I mean, there has to be another forum that they can really express their feelings, their personal feelings, and make their personal comments. Because again, I'm not saying I'm not going to read the questions. I do read the questions. It's those comments that I take offense.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be just for questions. We open the floor for questions.
So can I take a step back? And I'm sorry to belabor the issue, because my question is, for the public session, what is the cutoff? When the meetings were in person, there was a cutoff, which I remember there was a rebellion because the cutoff was too early and people weren't getting there at enough time to sign up to speak. Remember that? So we had to extend the time and ask for volunteers to sit out there and and sign people up to speak.
Yes.
Which Gina, right.
Yes.
My question is there a cutoff to sign up to speak at public session? And Madam Chair said there's no cutoff. And my question was, so then if I join the meeting at 6:30 and I want to speak, there's no cutoff. Do I just send an email? Hey, I'd like to speak. And I sign up to speak?
But the thing about it, Maria, we ask people if you want to speak to sign up. I mean, why would a person look at the agenda and know they want to speak and not send an email and tell us they want to speak, and then wait till they get to the meeting, knowing that when we had public meetings that you couldn't sign up to speak after a certain period of time? So what we need to look into, I guess we should say, anybody that want to speak has to sign up before 4 o'clock the day of. I don't know. What you think about that, Maria?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes,
We got to
that
give them
sounds-
parameters, you know?
Yeah.
Or
That makes
parameters,
sense,
parameters,
yes.
set parameters, perimeters.
Yeah. So Marie,
Makes sense, Madam Chair. Yes, I agree.
Yes, I agree.
So Marie, can we add anybody that would like to speak must sign up before 4 o'clock on the date of the meeting? But you know that the office get crazy, the day of, because committees don't get their reports in until 9:30 and 10 o'clock the night before. So Maria is inundated with reports up to that time. So it's just crazy.
So if you want a cutoff time for when the emails are received that they would like to speak?
Yeah, why don't we just set 12 o'clock on the day of?
Okay.
But do y'all agree with 12 o'clock?
I don't.
What, 12 o'clock?
I don't.
Too early. It's too early.
But
Yes,
Maria,
it's too early.
Our
It's too
agenda
early.
go out over a week before the meeting.
I understand. I don't read it till like 5 minutes before the meeting.
Well, that's
I'm
you.
being
That's you
perfectly
because
honest.
but that's you because you already know what's on the agenda.
People are people. People do that. People do that.
I think that maybe do 2 o'clock, but I think that
It's
again,
too early. It's too early.
again, again, if you're getting the agendas are out a week before prior to the meetings, they're available on the website. I think people have to be held accountable. You have to be responsible. You just can't, it's just a never ending thing. And we've got to have structure. And if we don't learn to structure our meetings, it's already finishing at 10:30, 10 o'clock at night because people just want to do what people want to do. And it's just, it's ridiculous already. We've got to have some kind of structure. We've got to have some kind of, I mean, again, because why do we do agendas? If not, just don't do no agendas. It's just free for all, just everybody just do whatever they want to do.
I completely agree with what you're saying, but I also agree that Marie needs some support in the office as well, because what I'm hearing is that Marie is the fix-all, where there's someone else in that office that can maybe help with all of this. How many people work there? I'm not counting the district manager, but there's another person there. So I think that maybe it's about delegating tasks, so to take some of the burden off Marie's shoulders.
Well, there's a lot of tasks in the office that has to be shared, and we try to distribute them so everybody has stuff that they have to do. It's just that it gets overwhelming with all the reports coming in and committees getting their agendas in late and setting up their meetings late. So that's why I ask people to get their meeting dates in and stuff. So, the committee's got to do better. You want to give a report, what's the harm in saying, I want to give a report? If you got the right, if you have, some people have a meeting the next week after the board meeting or the next that week. They got a whole month and they don't get the report in until the day before the meeting.
Human beings are naturally procrastinators. We're natural procrastinators.
What happens?
I write proposals. When they go in, like 5 minutes before the deadline.
But I'm saying that maybe then they should have a rule for the committee members, the chairs. If you don't submit it this time, then therefore you're not going to be able to present on the meeting. You got to also hold them accountable. And if they don't put it within the time that's allowed, you know what? You can't keep your meeting. You can't give your, if you have a vote or something, it's not going to happen because
reports need a deadline.
Respect too.
The reports need a deadline. Why don't we put and I'll listen, Mia culpa, I'm going to be the first one, but then maybe you need to say the reports have to be in by whatever time. And if it doesn't, it doesn't make it. It just doesn't make it.
I agree.
And then when the committee chair says, hey, my report, there was a deadline. You didn't meet the deadline, and you can try.
I agree.
And then folks are going to cry uncle, but they're going to cry uncle until they get it.
Yes, I agree.
But then they're gonna try to give a verbal report, and nobody know what they're talking about. But they come in so late, nobody don't have time to read them. They don't know what they're talking about anyway. People,
they can't sign
and
up
I've said
for
that
verbal.
before about
They can't
reports.
sign up
People
for
are voting on
verbal.
stuff they don't even know what they're voting on because they didn't see the report.
But then they shouldn't be able to even verbalize it because they haven't even submitted their written paper. So we have to really get a little strong on this. This is a different form, and we need to have some more rules and restriction because they can't go crazy like that and not respect the procedures and the policies. They have to set the example.
By the way,
if we can't do that, then that's a problem.
Just going to leave that one alone. I'll tackle that one on my own.
What was that, Maria?
There's just a fleeting thought about my stuff with this reconciliation sheet that is supposed to go out every month. I don't have anything to report. I don't have any meetings. The only report is here, sharing this information with the board. That's it. It's not a report, just sharing the reconciliation form with the board.
So that's what you do every month. You repetitious. Every 2 months, you submit it and follow the rules and submit it.
That's
If it's the same thing,
something I got to tackle. That's something I got to tackle on my own.
Put it in writing and send it to the board. That's all.
Exactly. It's the
Put
same
it in
thing over
writing and
and
send
over
it to the
again.
board. If it's repetitious, it's repetitious.
What do you put in writing? It's a spreadsheet. You just have to send it out. That's all.
No, you don't
That's
have to
it.
send the whole spreadsheet out. You just give a report if there's any changes.
I would send the spreadsheet. It's a budget. That's what it is. It's a budget
But you have to
spreadsheet.
send it every month.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to go attached with a report because there's nothing
Exactly.
to report. There's no meeting.
But then people gonna look at it and they don't know what it means.
Then I'll report on it.
Just explain it.
I will say this month they spent $27.36 on paper.
Yeah, just put that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, attach that to it and send it.
I gotta say something else, and I'm gonna say it now because I'm totally transparent. We spent money. We agreed to spend money on cameras for the purpose of meetings for the community board and the community board members. I'm sorry, Marie. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. Don't show their names on don't show their faces on the camera. So there's gonna be a question somewhere down the line, and I'm just being preemptive because I was lucky. I lucked out this time because I don't think anybody really wants this position for now, But it's like, why did we spend money on cameras if they're not being used? I'm going to ask that question as the chair of the board budget committee.
Well, you didn't. The cameras are being used, and there's no law to say anybody have to show their face on camera.
So what's the purpose of having the camera? It's only
Was
to
it-
show your face.
Maria, there's no law that says you have to show your face on a camera on a virtual meeting.
So why
But
did we
it,
buy
it
them?
shows, but it shows the
Why don't-
office. It
Yeah,
shows everything in the office.
This
They're
is true.
there.
This
It
is
shows
true.
the office, shows the table. It
Yes.
shows everything, and to know that they're there. They're there when it's supposed to be there.
They're there in case they're needed, but there's no law to say you have to show your face. We got board members that don't show their face, and they
And
don't have.
And thankfully, because
I
they're
am
volunteers,
one.
it's a volunteer
won't.
position. It's a
I
volunteer
won't show my
position.
face.
As long as you, Madam Chair, or if ever the question comes up, you will speak to it.
About what?
If ever the
What you want me to
question
say?
comes up
There's no
about
law to say anybody could have to show their face. I don't see where that's an issue. There's no
Yeah.
law to say you have to show your face on a virtual meeting. If it is, I don't know nothing about it. I've been on meetings where the person is speaking, don't see their face. You don't
why
see
did we buy
nobody's
cameras?
face.
Why did we purchase cameras? You know why I'm saying it? Because it's been asked. This has been asked of me. That's why I'm bringing it.
So people just got to see who got to see people on
No,
camera.
no. We're talking about the board.
Right, but I'm just
Office.
saying. I'm just
The
saying.
board
The board,
office.
the staff got to show their face on camera because we got the camera.
I don't know, Madam Chair. We're talking about the use of funds
Yeah,
for
but
certain purposes.
the thing about it is, Maria,
that you cannot force a person to use to show. That's the
camera.
thing.
The thing about it is that computers come with cameras now. When they bought those computers from the city, they did not have cameras on them. You bought cameras because the computers didn't have cameras. All computers come now with cameras built in.
No,
Or you buy it.
I bought a camera.
Well, mine
It's a
is
brand new
built in.
computer. Brand new computer. It's a little cam thingy.
Well, mine is built into the computer.
Oh, okay.
I
Regardless,
just want to
I don't
add
want to belabor this. I don't want to belabor
let
it.
me
I don't want to
add
belabor it.
something
We're losing the
to
point.
this. One of the things that WebEx had said, and the IT person had said, is that the more faces that are shown or the cameras are being used, it cuts down the resources of the ability to
To manage.
well, I mean the ability
The
to
stream.
do the
The
WebEx
stream.
recording. If you want me to show my face, I can show my face. I'm just trying to save the recording that we have enough resources.
Marie, I'm just saying
No,
that
but-
I'm bringing things that have been asked of me. I'm bringing it here because this
Well,
is the right platform to bring
You
it.
got your answer. You can tell them that.
Well, I don't know why this
It's being
was
recorded, so good.
I don't know why this would concern people. Like, why did we buy cameras and bought cameras because the computers didn't have any cameras? That's why we bought cameras.
Say why it's going to concern people. Why would you
Why?
think it concerns people?
Why?
Why? I don't want to belabor this.
No, but
Marie
I
gave
mean,
us an answer. Marie gave the answer. That's the answer. It's to save resources. It's to save on the ability of the functions.
but I
That's
don't
the
know.
answer.
My thing is, why this concern that people want to know we bought cameras, but we can't see in the office? I don't understand. Why is it concerning people? Nobody said we don't see all the board people.
We didn't buy their cameras.
Yeah, but we bought these because, the cameras, the computers
And when I'm
didn't have
saying
cameras.
we, I mean we the people.
Well,
That's
you
what I
asked
mean.
why did we buy the cameras? You asked why we bought the camera. We bought the cameras because the computers didn't have cameras. That's why we bought the cameras.
I don't want to belabor this. This went on too far more than necessary. Marie gave the answer.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else anybody want to discuss?
Yes, Simon.
Yes.
First of all, we have to make very clear that any chat that is people chat to each other or chat to whatever is public record. The other day, I chatted to Eric on the transportation committee that we should move on with the agenda, and his minutes went public. I didn't want people to know that in the middle of the meeting, that he put it out for general public to see the minutes, the chats. So people don't realize that. That's very important. That is number one. The second thing is that some members have locations that they don't have at that point. They don't have internet access with Zoom or with WebEx, so they have to call in. And last week I was thanks to Maria, I was able to Barry from the office. I was able to have them call in and get the number, and they should open them up. They should be able to vote and all that. But there should be a way that members know that if they can't have WebEx, they should call in to the office and let them know the number they're calling from, so that they could be heard. You know what I mean? Vote on issues. That's all.
Yeah, well, thank you, Simon. These meetings are very difficult because everybody, people come in through different means and they're
Right.
very difficult. So, we're doing the best we can. We're trying to make it as seamless as possible. But, I don't know. I don't know how people expect us to function virtually like we did in person.
Well, it's going very good. The chair, I mean, honestly, I got to tell you, honestly, you're doing a fabulous job. It's not easy for all of us, but I mean, especially the chair and also Marie from the office monitoring it. It's not easy, but I'm just saying that some members can have WebEx, and they have to go call in. It's not every time is an issue. The members should know that there's a way of, just in case they can't WebEx, they should be able to call in. That's all.
I know what you're saying, Simon, but I know I've been on some meetings because, do the senior meeting, and most seniors, they call in. But what they've done with committees is that when that person called in, they get their name, and some kind of way they type their name in. And when that person come in on the phone, it would show their name and you know who they are.
Right.
So maybe if people coming in on the phone, maybe they should call Marie, give them the phone number they're going to be calling in on, and let her and see if we can put their name in. So when they come in on the phone, the name will be there.
Right. All right.
I know that's what happened with some committees I work with. But like I said, most seniors, they don't use computers and they call in on the phone. And once they ask them what their name is, they put it in. And when that person come into the meeting, you can't see them, you can see the phone, but their name is there and you know that they're there.
Right.
And then if they, and then they can open up their mic if they want to speak and stuff. So, it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's try it. Have them to call in and give the number that they'll be calling in on. Because we tried to cover everything, to make sure that we had enough capacity. We tried to work out everything the best we could. With this, so like I said, if we want to do a workshop and we have everybody come to the workshop, I don't know. Do we want to have a workshop on WebEx for the board?
I think the workshop sounds like a good idea for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? I think Phil left. Sonia, you still there?
Yes, I am, Madam Chair. I'm thinking about that one. I mean,
Yeah, well,
whatever can help. If
Huh?
the workshop, whatever can help. I mean, whatever help, we can surely use it.
Well, I
Whatever
think,
technical challenges.
yeah, I think that's the point that we've reached because we just can't seem to iron out the issues that people have on our own. And we've talked to the tech has sent us information. you know. I mean, I'm on WebEx meetings and thank God,
is
you
true.
know, ours are not like some of them I see.
Yeah, but I've noticed that the different devices that I use, if I use my phone, if I use my iPod, if I use my computer, if I use my laptop, I find that my laptop is easier for me. I can
Well,
see
what
the
happened?
chat, I can see, but when I was in the iPod, it was a mess.
Yeah, well, what happened was when this was set up, they had Marie put in all the board members' email address. So the email address was already there. If you come in on a different email address, then you had difficulty. You
But yeah,
not, you
this
could,
is true. Sometimes I just go straight to the website, and then it gives me a problem. If I
Yeah, you
don't,
have
if it depends on the device I get through, it's true.
That
yeah, you
shouldn't
have to,
influence that shouldn't influence it because when you sign in, you're actually signing in through the invitation sent to your email address. So
No,
if
no,
you don't
that's how
come in
I
under that,
sign
if
not
in.
you don't come
always,
in under that email
not
address, you have a
always.
problem.
So
When
when
I'm
you get the invitation from the board, you don't click on that thing, on that join thing on the email.
Yeah,
no, because sometimes I don't have the email access when I'm home. I have it from work, so I have
So
to
how do you
update my
access the
email.
meetings? How do you
I
access the
go, I
meetings?
do the website. I go to the WebEx and I use them. I don't. I just do the whole
Or you sign in with the
Yes,
password and all that
yes,
other
and stuff
stuff?
like that. Yeah.
So, but
because
that means
she,
that you have internet, Sonia. That means you have internet,
I
which
do
means
have
you can
internet.
access
I'm
your
saying.
emails.
I said I do it.
that
It
means that
depends on
she's
the
not
device.
using, that means that she's not using the email address that Marie put into the system for her.
Correct.
Sometimes, but now I'm using it because now I can click because I put it over to my laptop because my personal laptop and my emails wasn't connected. So what I was doing is I couldn't get into my email because it's my work. I've updated and put my personal email, which I haven't. So what happens is, depending device, again, what I use. And before I would do the meeting, I could do it at the office, and it was easier because I just click it, boom, join, I'm there. So it
You're
depends.
joining directly from the app
Right.
when you can't go. Okay.
Right, exactly. And then that's when I sometimes I look like an attendee. Sometimes I don't put in the, so there are days I'm getting the hang of it. I'm using one thing. I'm sticking to one device so I won't go crazy and using my email, which alleviates all that mess.
It's a better way to do it. Just go
But it all
through.
depends on circumstances. About maybe 2 months ago, I was out of town, so I was using what I had when I was out of town. I was using my iPod. But I'm not telling anybody I'm out of town, because I was, we had a lot of things to do. But again, I was using a different device, so it all
Yeah.
depends what I'm using. But again, I realized that after trial and error, you learn.
Sonia, if you want to meet up with me, I'll help you upload your email onto your iPad to make things easier for you. We're both in the
No, it
South
works.
Side.
No, it works in my iPod. It didn't work in my computer, my personal stuff. So what happens, the iPad, I use it for work and the email's built in. But the only thing with my iPad, it was limited capacity to get the chat. I couldn't see the questions, remember? So I said, let me use my computer. And then that was the problem. And then I said, now I'm using the laptop, which alleviates it. But, I always kept forgetting my passwords. So, but now I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good, peoples. I'm just saying. Because it happens a lot
Okay,
of
well,
people.
okay, well, this is not a meeting. This is not a meeting anymore because we lost our quorum. Anyway,
We didn't lose the quorum. We just
well,
lost quorum.
Simon is gone.
Yeah.
Simon is here.
I'm
Simon
here.
is here.
Here.
So I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I agree. Aye.
Okay, thank you everybody for the input, and we'll look
Aye.
into trying to change.
Yes.
Bear with me. Charge it to my heart, not to my mind. Not. We're gonna try to do a cutoff date time with the meetings and put it out there that people have to sign up if they want to speak in the public session.
Great
and all
meeting,
that.
guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you for the
happy
healthy discussion.
inauguration,
It's
Mary.
healthy discussion,
It
nothing
was a
negative.
great meeting. I like that. Everybody.
I appreciate healthy meetings. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes.
Have a good
Okay.
weekend.
Good
All right,
night.
bye.
Happy inauguration day.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Good night, Marie. Get home safe.
Good night, guys.
Good
night.
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Good night, Marie. I'm sorry you're still there. Marie, can't you do that from home?
No, I can't. I don't have
When we
the
get home safe,
the
my
computer. The computer is set up the same way. No,
Just
that's
take
Oh,
care,
shit.
sweetheart.
So, oh, sorry. Forgot we're recording. All right. Okay.
It
Bye.
was,
Goodbye.
no, it's not recording no more. It was already adjourned.
Uh,